Hey everybody, welcome back. You guys know me, I'm Keri, and this is our friend Jess.
Hi.
And we just wanted to introduce her because she's going to be helping us out a lot around our homestead, and she is learning some of the building techniques that we're doing right now. And we just wanted to introduce you to her because she's one of the people that have just recently come to Cochise County, and we just want you to know her because you'll see her in our videos occasionally and just helping out with stuff around here. So, hi Jess.
Hi.
How's it going today? You've got a Zoe on your lap.
It's going good. Apparently she wants loves today.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to bite me.
Yeah. Yeah. Zoe's first meeting with Jessica did not go super great, as most don't with Zoe.
That's okay.
She did a bit of a nip, and we have big dogs lumbering around while we're doing our interview to keep it real.
It's okay because her and I are best friends now, apparently, because I give her the word that starts with T that we're not going to say because she's going to go nuts.
Yeah, exactly. It's a 5-letter word, starts with T, ends with S. Actually, maybe 6 letters. Anyway.
No they're yelling out plans and what they're going to do tonight.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, let's meet at the big tree later, drink some water, have a play fight. Oh my goodness.
Chase some deer.
Yeah, chase some deer. To use the opportunity to kind of talk to you about why Cochise County and why Jessica chose this area to relocate to. Like a lot of us, she relocated from a different state for many reasons, but why would you say that you picked Cochise County of all the places in the U.S. you could have gone?
So it actually started out with me getting laid off back in March.
Okay.
I was working with a COVID testing company. I was just getting really tired of the traffic and how expensive everything was. And all of that was causing a lot of stress. So I was trying to find something that was less stressful and kind of a slower pace of life.
Yeah.
I accidentally stumbled onto Cochise County when I was, surfing YouTube like I usually do.
Yeah.
And it kind of intrigued me that there was a lot of people that were living off grid, doing natural building, and that kind of a thing. So I started getting on some of the Facebook groups for the county, like Sierra Vista and whatnot, and seeing that people genuinely seemed to care about each other. Mm-hmm. Like somebody would post that their car got stuck in a ditch. You'd have 15 people asking where they're at, and they were going to tow them out. That's really rare.
It is.
And, people offer to help all the time, and them actually doing that is rare.
Yeah, that's so true.
So, after some pretty bad health issues that were coming up because of stress, I decided to take the leap and make a better life for myself.
Nice. We're glad you did. And I'm getting mauled by dogs. Okay, big girls down. Get big girls down. Sorry about the barking in the background, you guys. It's sometimes hard to film, as you know, without an animal making some sort of noise. So hopefully it settles down. If not, I'll try to figure something out to quiet them down. But so it sounds like you felt like there was a sense of community here that you would feel good in and feel like it was a good fit for you.
Yeah. It's I know not everybody's always going to get along with their neighbors, but I actually wanted to be around a community that as a whole cared about each other.
Yeah. Yep.
And we're genuinely nice.
Yeah. There's always those rotten apples, unfortunately.
Yes, this is true.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
As we well know. That is cool. We're glad you picked Cochise County.
Me too.
I'm going to try to get Zoe under control. Zoe, come here. Would you say that what you thought it was going to be like here is what you expected?
Actually, it's better.
Oh, nice.
So being in the desert, I think of all sand and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I was really surprised once I got in the area how green it was.
Oh yeah.
And you guys were like, "Oh, it's not green. Just wait until during the monsoons or whatever." And yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I've never been in an area that's so quiet.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's wonderful.
And so peaceful.
Yeah. I hope it stays this way.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's really nice. It's a really nice change of pace.
Yeah.
I'm sleeping good. I used to have really bad insomnia, and now I'm sleeping hard, and yeah, it's amazing. I don't think I've ever slept that good in a long time.
Same for me. I always have struggled with sleep, but if I'm not really super physically active, I really struggle, but not here. I sleep really good when we are working outside all day.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely, the air is clean, and You'll probably find, and maybe you've already found this, is when you get away from the peace and the quiet out here and then you go back into like a bigger city, it just feels very stressful to me anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
You find that too. I wrote my questions down for her because my brain has short-term memory loss.
It's all right.
Yeah. So you are also living off-grid in a similar way that Doug and I are. What has been the biggest shock to you living off-grid? Because as far as I know, you've never lived off-grid before, correct?
No, I have not.
Okay.
So I want to say the biggest adjustment. Well, everybody
so
said.
Many to choose from.
Everyone said it was windy here.
Oh yeah.
I can just smell Fonzie. He's so gross.
I know, he's so gross. I have a pretty good. Get a pretty good angle.
That was an understatement.
Yeah.
So I have a little camping station that's set up outside of my place, because I have little propane stove, and I don't feel like unaliving myself.
Right.
So the wind kept blowing out the flame, and it was ridiculous. And it blew away all of my stuff a few times. And when they said the wind was bad, I had no idea.
Yeah. It's
but
definitely...
I've adapted, so far so good.
Yeah.
Knock on wood.
Yeah. It's one of those minor inconveniences.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be windy anywhere really, but yeah, it does get windy here. And because there isn't all the big tall trees that you have like up in northern Arizona, you don't get that wind block that you might get up there.
Yeah, or Washington where I'm at, you get the really big tall trees. And
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so, but it hasn't been too bad. I've kind of figured it out, and when I did, it was the most amazing thing in the world. Once I figured it out.
Yes, once you figure it out.
My food when it's windy.
Yeah, exactly. Tweaking things a little bit. And fun fact, Jessica is from Washington State.
I am.
Just like Doug and I are also, we may or may not have mentioned this, but Doug and I are both originally from Washington State via Colorado and Germany and some other states in between. But Jessica's also, so she's from the same area that we are, and we can connect on a lot of stuff like Uncle Dan's dressing, Ivor's clam chowder.
That I do miss a lot.
I do miss that too.
Yeah.
It's food apparently that we're connecting more on. But yeah, so that's cool. But it does take a little bit of adjusting. And you do have to have kind of a resilient attitude, and you kind of can't be, we were talking about this yesterday, you kind of can't be a super, super high maintenance girl out here.
No, not at all. You can't even be a little bit high maintenance out here.
Very nice. I mean, I would love to see somebody try that considers themselves high maintenance, because I think most people know when they are. I think it'd be fun.
Show.
Yeah. A challenge for anybody. I think that would be really interesting. So, but that's cool. And that's a very good point, because that is probably the biggest thing that we've struggled with is the wind.
Yeah.
You just don't realize how it will impact you. But,
I like a challenge though, so
yeah, we do too, apparently. She's been helping us with the Hyperadobe with the chicken coop, and she's actually helped us finish up some things that were just taking us a while. And so she's gotten to work with the Hyperadobe. What do you think about Hyperadobe so far?
So when I first learned what Hyperadobe was, I thought you guys were nuts, because I'm like, your house is gonna melt.
Yeah, right.
Like, you're gonna build your house and then it's gonna rain and it's gonna melt.
Yeah.
But it's amazing what you can do with Hyperadobe, and it's so much cheaper because you use your own, the stuff from your land.
Yeah.
So it's the coolest thing that I've ever seen. But yeah, I honestly thought you guys were crazy because your house is gonna melt.
We thought the same thing when we first started. We're like, isn't all that dirt, like, it's gonna rain and it's just gonna wash it away? And but it doesn't. It's just, it's an amazing construction material. However, and we've talked about this before, it is unbelievably labor intensive.
Yes, it is.
And time intensive. So you have to be mentally prepared for that, because I mean, it took us, and honestly, like, we thought we would move a lot faster than we did. And now Jessica was like, oh yeah, I can see like why it's taking longer. I didn't have it on. Okay, now like push it towards the camera, like, yeah. Perfect.
My own plans for my house are getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
I just live in a closet.
I know, right?
Yeah. Well, that, and like when I first got here, adjusting to the altitude from sea level to here.
Oh, yeah.
I was having a really hard time. I couldn't even shovel a bucket of dirt without vomiting, unfortunately. But I've gotten used to it. So.
Yeah. It takes about a month or so. 6
between
weeks.
the heat and the elevation. Yeah.
Yep. And you're younger too, so that helps. You adjust quicker when you're younger, I think. Older folks might take a little bit longer, but yeah.
Unexpected rain on our cob structure, and it came down really good last night, and it seems like all the walls are fine except the side that was facing the downward on pouring rain. You can see a couple spots where it washed off. That's easily fixed, but I wouldn't want to put this through. I wouldn't want to test this building out and have it experience too many heavy rains, because then it might all slough off. But we plan on liming this structure ASAP anyhow.
Yeah, and we were coming from Denver, so we were already a mile high. So we actually came down. So we felt like, oh, we have all this energy.
Right, Where I'm like, why am I having such a hard time?
Just walking up a hill. No, we totally get it. And, you know, invariably, when you make a leap like this and you make a huge lifestyle change like this, you may have some regrets. Do you have any regrets so far?
One. And that only regret was not doing it sooner.
Yeah, we have that one too.
Yeah. I think a lot of the stress issues that I had, I mean, there's always going to be stress, but the kind of stress, I think it would have alleviated a lot of problems.
Oh, yeah.
As I am so much better off now than I was. I absolutely love it here. It's like, there's struggles, there is everywhere, but these are manageable.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to look at it. That's a good resilient attitude, because you can't, when you make a life change like this, you can't necessarily think like, oh, it's going to be so much better, and the grass isn't always greener, but it sounds like things have balanced out. Yeah, it was for you, and things have balanced out, that, you know, the stuff that is not so great, that it balances out with the stuff that is good.
Exactly.
So it all works out. Yeah. That's good. That's how we feel. Really, we feel the same way. So that's really good. So the way she's doing it is because it's above her head. It's really the only way to get it up there is to like throw it on, but it makes a mess on you. So you guys, we'll do some lower spots.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Poopy stinky. Well.
And sometimes it falls off, and that's totally okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's one of the oldest. It is, actually, I think it is the oldest building material on the face of the earth. Like, it's, most of the houses in England are built of cob. And you can actually build your whole house out of cob. People do it all the time. It's a very efficient way to build.
Yeah.
It takes a long time, but yeah, you got it. You guys got a good technique going there. And then the goal is just to cover the red bags. Yeah. So you're doing great. Yep. And sometimes it falls off, and you can either scoop it back up or just leave it, and whatever you want to do. Tyler, what do you think about cobbing?
Pretty crazy.
Yeah. You playing in the mud.
Pretty intense.
Yeah.
I can see this as a good way to get your in, girl.
Oh, totally. It's super. Jessica and I have said many times, like, we could do this all day and never get sick of it.
You could actually take like printer paper and draw the faces of the people that you hate and tape them on and just cob over them.
Yeah, that's very true. I'm not going to say the name of the one that came to mind for you, Jessica, because I know who. I think it might start with an S.
There might be a couple.
There might be a few.
Let's be honest.
Right? More than one. Yep.
Oh, that one didn't work super well.
Cool.
Oh,
So part of what we were doing a lot the last, well, not just like maybe 3 weeks ago, she was helping us cob the chicken coop. And so for those of you that don't know what cob is, I know a lot of you do, but I just want to tell you what cob is and what its purpose is. And then we're just going to talk a little bit about cob and what you think about cob. It's actually my first time using cob also. On the chicken coop, and we thought, again, you know, the chicken coop is our prototype, and we're just like testing out all the different building techniques to see what works, so that when we do our house, we're not completely in the dark. But so anyway, we've been working on the cob, and cob is just a mix of clay, sand, and water, and straw. So you put straw in there too, not hay, but straw. So the straw, and I'm probably not going to explain this right, Doug would explain this better than I, but from what I understand, the straw sort of acts like rebar does in concrete. So it gives it added strength. The clay is obviously like the binder, the sticky, and then the sand is part of how it's made, and water. So, yeah.
Any filming of you mudding.
Oh, okay. That's because I'm the one that's always filming.
Yeah. Well, it's because my hands are always muddy.
Okay, come show the consistency. We don't have microphones on, so this is B-roll, I thought.
Lift it a little higher. Nice. It's a potato. Voices come out.
Cannot allow that.
Willow's getting splashed.
She is. She doesn't care. Willow, what are you...
Splashed.
Huh?
I'm getting splashed.
Oh, that's too bad.
That was a good...
I'm gonna make buttermilk mashed potatoes in a little bit.
And no other guy controlled the sea.
I'm like, I was like with the dirt.
I suck 10 million pounds of sludge from New York and New Jersey.
Doug knows all the weird songs that I've never heard of. You can look it up though. If you Google cob, there's actually a lot of really cool things that you can do with cob.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So Jessica and I are going to try some experiments with cob sometime soon with some things that we've seen like on Pinterest and on different things and it's really cool because again, you can build it out of stuff that you have on your land.
So many different things. Yeah. You can
Yeah.
do with it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a gal that we just started following. She's in Nicaragua, I believe. Panama or Nicaragua.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and she's building a natural house out of cob, and she's done like cabinets and just amazing things. Furniture, countertops.
Walls, whole walls.
I mean, whole walls. Yeah, it's really cool. It's a really neat material. And if you work with it the right way and you have the right ratios, it can be long lasting, long lasting, like way longer than even wood and things that you might see built. But anyway, so the cob is really fun to work with, I thought.
Yeah.
It's like, reminds me of playing in the mud, because in Seattle it was always raining. And
so always playing in the mud.
That was like our childhood, right?
Yeah.
Like making mud patties and you know, we did that a lot. So we were kind of reminiscing on that.
Food out of mud and everything when you were a kid.
Pizza and all sorts of chocolate cakes and stuff. So we had fun working with the cob, and it's not hard. It's very forgiving.
No, and it's fun to play. It's fun to work with.
Yeah,
I like
totally
throwing mud at the wall.
Yeah,
and not getting in trouble for it.
Yeah, not getting exactly. And there's different techniques that you'll find, and the best way to find what works for you is just to do it.
Yep.
We found like a throw it really hard and it splats, and that works pretty good. We also found a technique where you take it and kind of slide it up the wall like that, so it kind of presses it in. So the cob is what, with Hyperadobe, our final coating around our building is going to be made with lime, and that will be what we do all our outer coatings with. But the lime plaster doesn't stick real well to the Hyperadobe bag, which is essentially a type of plastic polyethylene or propylene.
Yeah, I can't remember which one.
One of those. So we need something in between to bond together. So it's a Hyperadobe bag, and then the cob goes over that. And then once that cures, and it's a good idea to let it cure for at least two weeks, 3 weeks is better from what we've understood. And then the lime plaster goes over the cob. And the cob is kind of it's kind of rough. Like we're going to have some video here in the background while we're talking. And you can see it's got a lot of texture to it. There's like little pieces of straw sticking out, and it's not real smooth at all. And you don't want it to be, because that really helps the plaster stick to it, and it helps the plaster kind of get into the pores and the grooves and kind of adhere. So, and that's what you want. So so we finished all. Jessica helped us on the day that we were really pushing hard. She was like a champ. Like Doug and I had to peel off early because we had something going on, and she hung in there for the long haul and was out there in the dark cobbing and getting it done. And it was like the last little section, and it was like
grabbed all the spotlights. And
yeah,
I'm going to do this in the dark.
yeah, exactly. And bear in mind, like at night, you got to be careful out here, because it is still snake season. They're very active at night. There's also scorpions that you have to watch out for, tarantulas.
Actually, I had a scorpion in my shoe yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Did you shake it?
I did.
Oh, good.
I almost forgot to.
Yeah.
But I shook it last minute, and thankfully I did, because that wouldn't have been a fun surprise.
God, that would not be fun at all.
Yeah.
I've heard that it hurts pretty bad depending on the type.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you live out here, if you leave your shoes outside, which we sometimes do, make sure and always shake your shoes out, even if it's only been for a minute or two. Well, I think that wraps it up. Anything else you want to mention, or?
No, just thanks for having me tag along and learning all sorts of new stuff.
Yeah,
it's been awesome.
We're glad to have you. We really
Glad
are.
to be here.
I can't even tell you guys what difference it makes to have a third set of adult hands helping out with the project. It's pretty awesome. So we're very thankful for her help. Anyway, we will see you guys soon. All right, and we'll do like a Doug will probably cut some of that out, but we got it done.